Hi, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, President of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. I have a friend with me today. Can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you like about what you do?
My name is Elizabeth Kelly. I'm an attorney in Chester County. My practice focuses on divorce, custody, support matters. And the thing I like most about my job is it's an opportunity to work with people during one of the most challenging times of their lives and try to guide them through it with what I want to call grace and
well, it's a difficult time, right?
Correct.
Because no matter how calm the divorce process is, it's still traumatic. It's so traumatic.
Correct. It's a lot of emotion. It's a lot of finances. It's a very difficult time in their life.
Right. And then you try to navigate that with them, or at least one of the parties, to help them get to the other side of that.
Correct.
And as well as they can get through it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's cool. It's an area where people need someone to guide them through. It's not a do-it-yourself type of situation, life event. You really need a professional to help be there, walk you through that situation.
Correct. What happens is people think that they can do it themselves, and it's a time where emotions are running high. There's fears about how they're going to handle things financially, what's going to happen with their children, and so they really should, even if they are capable of doing it, they should really step away from the actual part of the process and allow somebody else to kind of give them some guidance and some input.
Right. That's definitely a good avenue to go down. Tell me about being a professional woman and in the legal system. How has that been for you?
That has been, I want to say that has not been so much of a challenge for me. By the time I entered the legal profession and started as an attorney, almost 50% of the attorneys are women now.
Oh, that's great.
And so, whereas colleagues of mine that entered the profession years earlier they experienced a lot more challenges. I think the biggest challenge is when you're trying to have the family and any kind of profession, whether it's an attorney or a doctor or a financial planner. It requires a certain amount of juggling.
And then what are some of those challenges for you, and how do you navigate them?
Well, some of those challenges are, I have a child, and he's now of an age where he's 14, so he's a lot more self-sufficient. But looking back over when he was younger, it would be a challenge. There was always a joke in my family that he knew when I had to be somewhere important. That was always the time he'd start running a fever and you're kind of scrambling around. Now the challenge is, because I'm self-employed, I'm able to work from home, and the question is, well, at some point you need to turn it off.
Good point.
Your clients are important to you, and you want to do the best, and you want to respond to them timely and as quickly as possible and meet their expectations. But just because you can bring it home and work on it at night, you have to learn to prioritize, and sometimes it can wait until the next day.
Right, and doesn't mean you should.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's a different type of balancing, where we are also challenged with how to get there, how to do things, but then with the work, bringing it home, and I think a lot of people face this, bringing it home really sets you into that, okay, well, it's never done, I just got to do this, and I got to do it now, and to be able to turn that off.
And I think I've been working in the legal profession for 20 to 30 years, and it's really changed, and it's the advent of, I want to say, the technology that now everybody can text and everybody can email, and everybody's moving much faster.
Yeah, and it's hard because you have an email and because they have a text, they expect immediate response, and that's not reality for a lot of people.
Correct, because even if you can respond immediately, sometimes things are better thought about and considered, and take a little bit of time, as opposed to doing something immediately, which is what you expect your clients to respond. You need to be the professional. You kind of need to maybe give it a little bit more time.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a really good point too, because it is sometimes easy to just respond quickly with, oh yeah, I know what they're talking about. But if you sit back and think, you might think of a couple different angles that you could go with that answer.
For me, when I am looking at something that maybe could go a couple different ways, or it's something that an issue's come up that's a little bit different or has some different twists and turns, I truly believe in just sleeping on it. You know, whatever happens that day, as long as it's not an emergency, sleeping on it always gives you a fresh and clear perspective.
Exactly. Very good. Clear head, clear train of thought.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So tell me about either times in the past or looking forward. What do you think about your financial planning needs for you, your family, your business? What are the things that you focus on?
Doing divorce work. People's lives become an open book to you. Not only do you see a lot of emotional things in their lives, but they have to open up their finances to you. And some of the things that you see that you really take to heart are things like, what are other people putting away for their retirement? What are they doing with their cash assets? What kind of debt do they have? And it's something that's always it always causes me to kind of look and go, okay, you know, this is what happens, you know, if you're not planning properly, or, you know, things in life are much easier if you have planned for your retirement. For us as a family, the other things that come up is when somebody comes in for a divorce, usually one spouse has been the one that makes the plans and handles the finances, and the other spouse has been the one kind of going along. Because, you know, in any kind of relationship, somebody always has their strengths and someone always has their weaknesses. So that wouldn't be unusual, but you know, in my own life, trying to talk to my husband about what are we doing, how are we planning, even just where do we have money, you know, what assets do we have, because, you know, my biggest fear is something happens to one of us and the other one doesn't know where their money is.
That would be scary, especially nowadays with electronic statements as opposed to the paper statements that come in the mail.
Correct. It used to be you could, back in the dark ages, you could wait for the statement to come in and you'd find it out. Now it's all electronically, so it's a much more difficult thing. I think also when people are going through a divorce, it adds a layer to it when they don't know what's there. They're not sure if somebody's hiding something, and it really creates a sense of they're not calm about it. They're much more anxious about it because it's not something that they had engaged in the conversation.
Right.
And you know, going to the family, you know, trying to teach your children about money. You know, when you see these things day in and day out, how do you teach them about money and about managing money? Because I think we had talked about this before. You know, my son's of an age, he's like, well, just put it on the card. Just put it on the card. You know, they see you go into the grocery store and you use the MAC card to pay for it. It's like, well, just put it on the card. And trying to recognize that there's actually money involved. It's not a never-ending stream of money, and getting them involved in learning about things. You know, the savings accounts, checking accounts, even the stock market. And
good lessons to learn.
Yes,
good lessons to learn. Well, thank you for joining me.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
I love having you. Well, thank you for joining us as well on our Women and Wealth series. If you want to find out more information about us, look at Facebook and Twitter at Forge Wealth. And on LinkedIn, I'm there as Regina McCann Hess. Thank you.